Thank you. All right, next. All right, next we have Phoenicia. Phoenicia also got her first hire. Congratulations. Phoenicia, are you on? Take 1 minute and talk about why you're excited. All right, going once, going twice. Congratulations. Now we have Jawan.
Please don't change.
Please mute your phone, please.
Macaque's cheap pouches.
All right, I don't know what just happened here. Hold on 1 second, guys. I think Kali is on.
I am. I got it, Corinne.
Oh,
Just keep
thank
going.
you. All right, because we can still hear it. All right, guys. So next is Jawan. Jawan also got his first hire. But guys, on top of that, Jawan also hired 10 people in his first week. That is huge. All right, Jawan, we want you to take at least 2 to 3 minutes and talk about why you're excited and how you did that.
Okay.
For some of the people on here that they just may be struggling a little bit to get people involved in the business, just kind of tell us why you're excited and what you're saying to get your people on.
Most definitely. Good morning, everybody, by the way. Well, I'm excited just because, this is one of the best opportunities in the world that I have
Jawan,
seen.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
1 second. We cannot see you. We need your, yes.
Sure.
We want to see, people want to know who you are.
Sure. Can you see me?
We can definitely see you. Okay. Great job, buddy. Go ahead.
All right. So good morning as well, like I stated earlier, but I'm just excited because this is this is the best opportunity in the world that I've seen. I've came from a different IMO before. So, just to see all that this company has to offer is exciting. And to keep it to yourself is somewhat being selfish. So as far as what am I saying to get these people here? I'm just being honest with them. I'm sharing the opportunity. I'm sharing other people's success stories. And I'm being direct with them. And this is the question I ask. Hey, do you know anybody that is looking to make an extra stream of income? And I explain what we do. And I send them the quick link as far as the overview of the president speaking of what we do. And that's how I do. But one thing I don't do, I don't discriminate on who I talk to. I talk to everybody. You must be proud of what you do. You have to be excited when you talk to these people, because if you talk to them and you're on the phone with them or in person with them and you don't sound excited, how can they be excited about the same opportunity? So, you have to have that excitement. They have to see your thrill and your excitement. So that's really how I do it.
We're going to the garbage. Janae, get the bag.
Awesome. Now, Jawan, did anybody train you on what to say to your people, or were you just excited and you just kept it real and you just shared, even though you just joined the business, you don't yet have, you have success in hiring, but you're on your way, right? You don't have too much stuff to brag about, but did anybody have to coach you or train you or to teach you what to say?
No, nobody had to train me or coach me. I'm because I have a big why. I have a big reason for what I'm doing. My thing is, like I said, I might not have the success as far as writing right now due to the fact that license is in progress. But the simple fact that I can share other people's success and say that other people are having the same success and this person just got started, this person just got started. So just on the simple strength of just sharing that is enough, and being excited about it and telling them, hey, listen, I'm building and I would love for you to come with me.
Awesome. And one thing I do know too, Jawan, is that, I love your excitement because, guys, if you're listening, people are getting beat up on their job, sad to say at their home, by their peers, everywhere. And especially what's going on, COVID is still happening. We're just coming out of that. People are depressed, they're sad, they're looking to make money. And all you did was ask the golden question. Are you open to making additional income? And you're not discriminating about who you talk to. It doesn't matter.
Don't discriminate who I talk to. If I'm out, if I'm at, especially if I'm at a restaurant or I'm outside, I'm at the mall. Hey, the best people to talk to, car salesmen, people at the, people at the mall that have their little stands. So don't discriminate. everybody is looking for that extra income. If nothing taught anybody anything after this pandemic, that somebody needs a plan B and a plan C. So we can be that plan A, B, and C.
Got you. Sounds amazing. Well, great job, Jerron. We're excited about you, and keep kicking and pushing, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, not a problem. All right, and then the next person I want to highlight is Muthana. Muthana actually passed his exam. Congratulations. We're excited about you. Now, before we bring our guest speaker on, guys, I do want to go over some announcements. All right, guys, please get your notebook paper out and get ready, all right, to write this stuff down. This is very, very, very important. All right, guys, if you have not started WorkSpots, get on WorkSpots. It is very, 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 very beneficial to your business, guys. They're constantly giving out discounts. I know the discounts that they just gave out was for to do a travel trip in the different states, where there are discounts on leads that you can go and run business if there's not a lot of leads in your state. So please take advantage of that. That's the benefit to you. You can save a bunch of money, but it's also beneficial, guys, if you don't have an office to plug into in your area. All right, you can plug into someone else's office, just paying $99 a month. You can actually reserve a spot in someone's office. You got free internet. You have a free office to work out of so that you can run your business, and you have a place for your people to come to. The next thing I want to go over, guys, is definitely Telegram. All right, we're hiring a bunch of people, okay? So the only way to get our announcements and things and updates, all right, guys, is to post it into Telegram so all of you guys can actually see it at once. So please pay attention to Telegram. Please look at it to make sure that to get all your updates. All right, guys. And then the next thing I want to go over, guys, is the most important thing of all, the biggest event of all events, guys, is registering for the convention. Convention is going to be February 2nd to February 5th. So write this down. February 2nd to February 5th. This is 2022, guys. If you want to have an amazing 2022 to kick off your brand new year, you better be there, guys. What I do know is that anyone that doesn't go to convention is 6 months behind anyone else. And you're going to have a very, very, very hard time in this business. We've had a ton of people who didn't know how they were going to get there, and they got there and they changed their entire business. These are people averaging 10 or more grand a week, 10 or more grand a month, all right, part-time or full-time. And I always talk about these two, Ryan and Thad, our business partners. They were prior police force, been here a little over a year. All right, they were averaging 40 to 50 grand a year in income, taking care of a family. Guys, they made a decision together. They were by themselves, went to the convention and made a decision, which is all it takes. A decision to go after your goals and dreams and not someone else's. They came back and they've been killing it ever since then, averaging 40 to 50 grand or more a month. And you too could do the same thing, but you got to get there. All right. And guys, it's completely free. And you guys, we come from, if you don't come from a previous IMO, we came from an IMO where you had to pay for every event, pay for learning, pay for training. I mean, literally the money that we had coming in went right back to the company. And our president believes that this opportunity, you don't have to pay for training. You don't have to pay for an event. You just have to get there. So guys, it is a must. There's no excuse. If your bank account is low, all right, guys, if you need more money, if you're about to be evicted, if you're about to lose your car, I don't care what it is, you better get there, because everyone that goes comes back and they change their life. So that's it for me. I definitely want to hurry up and bring our guest speaker on. I cannot wait to hear from her. I am super excited about her coming on to talk and speak with us today about her success. I know you've seen her name up and down in Telegram and on Facebook, just killing it. I believe she's travel training right now. Excited for her. She's on Team Unity. She cash flowed in her bank this month already over $22,000. So it's safe to say that this is definitely somebody you want to listen to, take notes, mimic everything she's doing, because guys, if you don't have any money in your bank account, or if you're just struggling in this business, or if you're just trying to figure out if this is something that you want to do, she is going to let you know why, okay? So Rachel, do we have you on? Rachel Canning.
Hi, Corinne.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so excited to have you on today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be on. I just want to thank you and Kali for hosting this every week. It's such an it's an invaluable asset to not only newer people, but even people who, like you said, are interested in the business itself, you know, kind of want to dabble a little bit, get a little bit more information, you know, and then the rest of us too, who have been here for a couple months through over a year, you know, so it's always good just to kind of see new faces, see new people doing really well, and kind of keep updated with what's going on too.
Awesome. So glad to have you on. So Rachel, listen, we want to hear everything you're doing, all that you got going on. I first want you to start out with your story. Kind of talk about where you came from, how'd you get involved, how long you've been here, and, you know, kind of run through what your schedule is like. LiPo, if you forget anything that I'm asking you to talk about, I will jump in and ask you. But let's hear from you. Who are you? What, you know, where'd you come from? How'd you get here?
Well, I was born and raised in New Jersey, but I started in the insurance industry a little over 3 years ago up in Massachusetts. Call it my practice company now. I came from a captive agency. So for those that don't know exactly what that means, it just meant that I worked for one company and one company only. I didn't have the ability to work with multiple carriers. I had that one company. They ran everything. We only had a handful of products. And the leads that we worked, we didn't pay for leads, which I thought at the time was like such a great thing. But as a matter of fact, you know, I will personally never go back to a bait and switch lead again in my life. And also, you know, going over to some of those places too, the leads are like 2, 3, 4 years old, you know. So coming over here, it made a huge difference. For those who are kind of like a little timid or scared about purchasing leads for the first time, I definitely was too, just because it was something so out of my realm. Just wasn't used to it, you know, and I didn't have the right lead flow at first in order to get the cash flow to go reinvest back into the business. So I would buy leads like once. Honestly, at first, my first lead pack, I bought 200 leads and I stretched them for like probably 3 weeks, which was not a good idea at all. You know, the last thing that you want to do is just keep on calling and calling and calling through all these leads that, you know, at some point you scrape off what you're going to get and you need to move on from that. But yeah, so I was there for about 3 years. I worked myself into management. There was a plethora of reasons why I did leave. But I saw everyone over here at Family First Life and everyone was winning. You know, it wasn't just the uplines and the senior management and the people who have been there for 7, 8, 9, 10 years plus that were making money. It was brand new people right off the bat, you know. Unfortunately, when I was at my other company, when I was in management, when I was doing well those months, I knew a lot of my agents were struggling. So that was something that personally I struggled with. You know, you never want to see anyone who you're trying to help not doing well. And there was really nothing that you could do about it. So that's kind of my backstory coming into Family First Life.
Okay, I have a quick question for you. So
Shoot.
I know some people don't know what this means, and you know, you might need to help me too. What's the difference between a bait and switch lead and the regular leads?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the old leads that I used to run, they would like fill out something either online or throughout the mail, and it would say like a free minimal accidental death benefit coverage if it was like someone who was working. Or more often than not, it was a free will kit or something that we called free child safety kits that we would have to go into the house. We would have a whole spiel, a presentation. We would make them watch. It felt like a million videos. You know, it was really like just upselling them, just getting your foot into the door and upselling them. So coming in here, it really blew my mind that one, I didn't know that people actually requested coverage for life insurance. I just figured they just picked up the phone and called the company themselves. So that blew my mind within itself. And then after that too, just seeing the CRM and seeing how many people request help, like they asked for help, go call that lead. They needed help with either obtaining a policy or looking over their current policy, help saving them money or getting them out of a graded policy that they might not really want to be in and they don't know any better. So these people are asking for your help, you know? And that was something that was absolutely just mind blowing to me.
That is amazing. Okay. So how long have you been here at FFL?
So I've been here, I've been writing since I did make it to convention. I
Yay.
don't know I did make it to convention. I don't know if I had a policy on the books at that point, but yeah, it was one of those things. I was not doing too well, leading from a company, and you'd think after being at an insurance company for 3 years, they promise you like the whole world when you're going in there, and they're promising you this and that. And after I got to 3 years there, I kind of look back and I'm like, I'm not where I wanted to be. So that was another reason for me wanting to switch over to Family First Life. I came from a very low comp captive company. They started me at 40%. So it was really, it was a no-brainer coming over here. It was just absolute no-brainer. But I did make it to convention. I started here officially really picking up business in February, and then I moved down to North Carolina, and it has been just wonderful. I think when you really kind of immerse yourself in the system and the people who are here, you're going to naturally just hold yourself up to a higher standard and work the work ethic that they do. It's really going to rub off on you, and it's going to make you work harder, which in turn you're going to produce more. You're going to be cash flowing a lot more. You're going to be, again, just being able to help more people and reinvest into the business and grow your deal as big as you possibly can with it.
That's awesome. Let me ask you a question, because I know you weren't really doing too many sales when you said when you went to convention, right? What was one person you kind of heard that set it off for you, that it made sense?
Coming here, I got to tell you, just from naturally just having the same background as Josh Chris, it was something that resonated to me. Now, I always say, I think everyone kind of needs to find like their person, whether it's through like the podcast. They should have like 2 or 3 people that they consistently watch, and kind of take little bits of what they say and try to incorporate them. You never want to like fully lose yourself, by kind of mimicking too many people. You want to really kind of keep it yourself, especially when you're with these families. But, Josh definitely helped me a lot out in that aspect. And then also too, we really do have an open book policy here. I've messaged people just out of the blue, have no idea who they are, but I constantly see them on there, and I saw them doing so well. And I'm like, there is no reason why I cannot be doing just as well, if not better, And I think that a lot of the times too, we're overthinking and we're psyching ourselves out. And we're like, oh my God, he or she is so great. They're so talented. And at the end of the day, all that it comes down to is just having a good lead flow and being willing to put in the hours. We don't have we do kind of have a crazy job, but we don't have like a crazy labor intensive job. We do drive a lot. I love it. It's a great time to listen on podcasts and kind of tune up what you're doing here. But besides that, there's really just no excuse besides just plugging into the system and getting it done.
That is awesome. And you know what? That actually brings me into what you mentioned, which was lead flow, right? You said you have to have a good lead flow. What does that look like for you?
So for myself too, when I really started to increase production from last month to this month, I was just buying leads, buying as much as I could, whatever is kind of available in the CRM, but then also supplementing with starting to lock out counties, and just making sure that you have a full schedule. For a while, and up until probably very recently, I was doing dial a day, run a day, and I think that it was because of my lead flow. You have to buy more in order to set more. And it all kind of comes back to, especially people who are brand new here that might not have, a ton of money to go throw out leads. The CRM and what you said with WorkSpots, the discounts are amazing. You really just want to set yourself up for success. Order more than you would ever need, because you can always go run back out to those counties that you missed, or help supplement for another day. But as soon as I got like a good lead flow, I was able to book up 2 days, no problem.
Nice. What type of leads are you buying? Are you buying all different types? What does your lead flow consist of, and the type of leads that you purchase?
Yeah, so currently, I'm not gonna lie to you, I think that every lead is a good lead. Every lead that has a name and a phone number and an address, it's a good lead, I've had huge sales off of 3-month-old internet leads, and just because I just scooped out the entire county, they happened to be in there. So you never want to discredit a very old lead and kind of chalk it up as garbage, because you don't know who had that lead beforehand. If they even got service, you don't know their situation. So, that's always a great avenue, but mostly I love the instant internet live leads, and then the 1 month too. But you want to make sure, as soon as you're buying them, especially with the instance, get on the phone, and go get a hold of these people. It's fresh in their memory. They just did it. So definitely scoop them up, and you can't buy enough leads.
And how many do you normally buy for your run day?
I want to say, if I'm booking for 2.
Uh-oh, I think you got frozen over there. Let me send you a text. Rachel, we lost you. Let's see. Is she frozen on y'all end too?
Yeah, she is.
All right.
Yeah, send me her number, Corinne. I'll call her. I'll try to call her.
Okay. Let me send you her number. This is really good, guys. Hold on 1 second. Info. I think she's gonna log in and come back on. Copy. Hold tight, guys.
And you guys definitely don't want to miss it, because Rachel's gonna go over what she does at the kitchen table. So you guys definitely want to take notes, because you just in the last 2 days or so, she's been really, she kills it on a regular basis, but just know what she did in the last day or so. But definitely take notes, because she's going to go over her kitchen table, what she says when she's meeting with clients. I'm gonna try to call her real quick, Corinne.
Okay. Shoot, what is going on? All right, let's.
You're on mute.
Sorry, guys. If you guys can just start putting some questions in the chat, if you have any questions, so we'll save those towards the end if we have time. Rachel, are you back on?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So my phone,
it's okay.
It says temperature on it. It's like 80.
It gets hot.
Yeah. So I didn't realize it was cooking on the steering wheel, I guess. But yeah, I totally forgot. What were you asking me?
Yeah, so we were talking about the different types of leads that you purchase. You went over that, and then how many you're buying and how much you're spending week to week.
Week to week. So I know I just took a travel trip about a week ago out where I was yesterday. It was about 4.5 hours out. I want to say about $2,300. With that, we used a WorkSpots discount, which was awesome. Saved a ton of money there. Typically, I like to keep it around like 1,500. But like I said, like if the worst thing that you could do is just spend a little extra on leads, it's probably the best thing that you can do. Because you're gonna want to, one, go recoup that money, and two, like it's an investment, and the safest investment in my book is if I'm betting on myself. So I'll take that all day, any day, because I'll make sure I get the job done.
So when you first started, would you say you weren't spending as much on leads as you are right now?
No.
So you almost have to believe that you're going to make the money back times 10.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And it really, I think it definitely put pressure on the system. Don't put pressure on yourself, And I also, I want to say you might see like a ton of people up there, on Telegram and Facebook, having monstrous days. We're not any talented than anyone else. More often than not, I'm booking more people than I can even see. But I do that for a reason because it's inevitable. We all run into no-shows. We all run into reschedules. So if you have a schedule that's booked up, like you have 5, 6 appointments and you're worried about getting to all of them, keep on booking up, Always just make sure. It's the same thing as the lead flow. I would rather have too many than not enough,
That is awesome.
Yeah.
What let me ask you a question. What would you say your return is on I know you spend $2,300, right? What's your return?
Yeah, and it varies too. The lead cost, it varies, but it's usually on average around $1,500. I really try to submit nowadays going forward, and I want to just kind of keep that growing exponentially. About 10K, most of it, get with your managers, what companies you really want to try to put that through if you can, in order to just keep your cash flow healthy. But you also want to make sure that keep an eye on what company and what products, and ask your manager if you have any questions with that too. Just because, one product through one company might be a better fit than another. But yeah, usually the return is, oh gosh, I can't do math right now. I'm a little brain dead, but
It's okay.
it's a substantial amount.
So definitely, guys. I mean, this is good. And so let me ask you another question. I know, before we jump off of lead flow, you're spending, anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500, right? On lead flow. Would you say that every time you've spent that, you've always gotten at least 4 to 5 times or more return on your money?
I would say like 95% of the time. You can consider even like a bad week is just making sure that you broke even. There hasn't been a week where I haven't broke even on whatever I bought. So, and that's a really bad week. I think I've had that happen maybe one time from when I first started, and it was because I was first starting. So I think that I just want to touch upon that. Anyone who's new here who came from a previous company, just let it go. We came here for a reason. Just get that system or whatever the heck you had implanted in your head, because it's a totally different system and route here. Even my dial times over there, I tried to bring it over here. It wasn't working. So just follow the system that we have in place. It's in place for a reason. It's hands down the best IMO company that you could possibly work for. It's the most profitable. And on top of that too, we get paid very handsomely just for servicing and helping families who ask for help. So it's just kind of a no-brainer.
That's awesome. Rachel, you are killing it, girl. Talk about your schedule for me. Are you full-time? Are you part-time? Sounds like you're full-time.
Yes, I am full-time. My schedule, it varies a little bit. From here on out, I'll be working as close to 7 days a week as I possibly can, really trying to do the whole no days off thing. And really just trying to create a habit, get into a good routine that's going to create a habit that's just going to turn into an absolute lifestyle of just working and working and working. Because I know what I do now, I'll look back, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years later and really thank myself for the things that I'm missing in order to commit to work, to better myself and, future family's future later on down the road,
So what time do you get up? What time do you
Lord.
start your day? Are you doing a dial a day, run a day still, or are you doing a dial a day for 2 days?
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, it's contingent upon like where my schedule is at. Immediately, I'm booking up the next day. That is my number one priority. Like if I'm dialing on Monday, my first priority is just booking up Tuesday. As soon as I get that booked up, I'm immediately trying to fill up the next day. What I started doing, and I wasn't always consistent with hitting the phones on time and starting early. I made my first phone call on Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday. 6:45 in the morning. And my whole rationale behind it, I'm like, you know what? If they're gonna yell at me, they're gonna yell at me whether it's 6:45 or 9 a.m. It doesn't matter. And I wound up booking like 8 or 9 appointments between 6:45 and 9 a.m. So it really kind of blew my mind, and I was like, wow, I was absolutely just shocked. So that's something I'm gonna absolutely try to implement a little bit more and getting ahead. But I think it comes down to preparation the night before, or if you're an early bird and you can get up at 5 a.m., 5:30, get everything together, because the last thing you want to be doing is trying to figure out if I need to buy new leads, where I'm going to be running, what counties I'm running in, where I need to drive to. It should all be planned ahead of time, just to kind of limit that. Because like I said, I think your best friend and your worst enemy in this game is going to be the mental game that you play with yourself. So try to limit that overthinking as best you can.
Perfect. And how many appointments are you booking for your run day to have a successful run day?
Yeah, absolutely. So minimally 7, 8, more often than not, I really prefer having as close to 10, if not over it, as I possibly can. Like yesterday, for example, I wound up, I got no-showed a good amount. But I was fortunate enough to have booked 11 appointments, especially, and I always encourage drive like pretty far from where you live. You're going to limit that temptation of wanting to go home, go take out your dog, any excuse you could possibly think of. The farther you are away, you are stuck out there all day. So you might as well make it a really good day. You might as well go help some families and go make some money for yourself, because that's going to be the best route to take. And at the end of, a day of traveling, 2, 3, 4 hours out, coming back home, and just that rewarding feeling of you put everything out there that day, you did the best you could. It's a really great feeling,
That's awesome. So kind of walk us through your in-home. And guys, please grab your pens and your notebooks. If you are scared to get out in the field, to sit down with a client, or you're just not having success in the in-home, Rachel is going to bring it home for you guys, okay? So if you could walk us through, Rachel, from the etiquette, from the time walking in the home until the end, and kind of give us some of the things that you say to build a rapport within a short period of time, and walk us through your presentation if you could.
Yeah, absolutely. So personally, the second I get up through the door, it all depends. If they're outside, I'm immediately like all smiles, hey, how you doing? If I have to go up and knock on the door, kind of get all situated beforehand and then give it a good knock and have them come. Yesterday I had that woman who no-showed me. I saw her pull in and I immediately blocked her in. So that's another great way to make sure that they can't get out. What was I going to say? So yeah, as soon as I see them, I'm automatically building rapport. And building rapport is something as simple as, just introducing yourself. You don't want to be robotic with it. Like, hi, I'm Rachel from Family First Life. We have an appointment at blah, blah, blah time. So I just, again, hey, I'm Rachel. How are you guys doing? I make sure I double check to make sure I have the right names. I'm not calling them the wrong names, which I have done before. It's not the end of the world. But, as soon as I get into the door, I'm immediately looking for a table, not that I don't prefer lounging on a couch or whatnot, but I'm immediately looking for the table. And I think it's pretty important for, where you're sitting, where you have them sit next to you too, just because I kind of like them on one side together. I don't want to be going back and forth. I like to face them, together just to go over everything. So I'm building probably about 3 to 5 minutes of rapport. I'm asking them a little bit more about them. Typically, how long have they been in, yesterday I was in Shelby. How long have you been in Shelby? Have you lived here your whole life? Naturally, from my other company, we were very big on collecting referrals. So I'm like, who else is in the area, and I do get quite a few referrals from doing that. So it's never a bad thing to kind of keep in mind. And then I always bring myself in. I go by with rapport. I try to remember this acronym called FORM. It's family, occupation, relationships, and then me. So I always try to
go over that one more time, Rachel. Go over that one more time. Family.
Yeah, family, occupation, relationships. So like any other friendships they have, and then I go over me. And I always try to keep that in the back of my head. And the last thing I want to talk about is me before I dive into it, just to build more trust and credibility before we really start tackling everything. The presentation itself, it's really, I try to keep it very comfortable. First thing I do after, build some rapport is I want to figure out why I'm there. And then I let them know exactly what we're going to be going through. Because I want to know right off the bat, if I booked up 10, 11 appointments, I guarantee you I'm going to be cutting it close to the next one. Not that you ever want to rush out of the one you're in. You want to love the family you're with, but you also don't want to waste your time if you know it's not going to be a great opportunity. So if obviously, you find out that there's a need for life insurance, if you can better help that situation, awesome, you proceed. If not, then you have millions of other people that we need to go help. So right after that, I go into kind of cover the carrier list. I go into, I want to figure out something that's comfortable for you. I want to make sure it's affordable. And I always tell them at the end of the day, I really want to make sure that you're a little bit more educated in whatever policy we're going to get you into, because it's one of the most important policies you'll ever have in your life. It's going to be the bill that's going to pay all your bills when you're not here to help pay your bills. So immediately right off the bat, I throw that in there, and then I'm automatically just assuming the sale. I'm assuming, again, too, telling them that whatever policy we're getting into, they're going to know right off the rip that we're going to be getting into a policy today. So there's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Then we bring them to the client worksheet. The agent hotline was my best friend when I first started, and that was another, I don't want to say ego thing when I first got here, but I didn't want to call because I felt like I've been doing this for so long. I know what I'm doing. I didn't know what I'm doing. Go rely on that, especially when you're trying to figure out what companies are a little bit more lenient than others. But the first thing that I always do, typically no matter what, is I'm running Americo as much as I possibly can, just to see if they can initially pass that prescription MIB. And then after that, we're proceeding from there. With that, again, too, I'm writing down the 3 options for them. I still do a gold, silver, and bronze. And then I just slide it over to them, ask them, just looking at these 3 options, which one would you immediately think that would help protect your family the most and is going to be the most affordable for you right at this minute? And whatever one they pick, we go through an application with. But that's pretty much that.
Rachel, can you repeat those last 2 questions? Because I think those are really key and important, like how you bring it home, like, because that really is the final stage of the close. So what is it that you say that once you present them with a price?
With presenting a price, so I always ask them, like, which option out of these options for each of you do you think would be, again, enough to protect your family when that time does come? And also, I want to make sure that it's comfortable for you as well. So looking at those 3 options off the top of your head, which one would work best for you today? And I'm not asking for, a year from now, or which one do you think could work best for you? You want to be very direct with it. I really don't, the less confusion and the less I can't talk today. Ambiguity, the better.
All right, let me ask you a question, Rachel, because it seems like you don't get any objections when it comes to people giving you their banking information. How are you handling that objection up front so that other people who may be struggling to pick up the check, how do you handle that?
Yeah, so as I'm going through the client worksheet, I don't remember if they all have it on there, but I'm asking as one of the questions, I'm like, awesome, do you do your banking through a local bank, a credit union, or do you use a Direct Express card? So I'm figuring out right then and there. And then as soon as, again, hence if I'm going through America, which 9 times out of 10, you should be at least trying to see if they can qualify for it. I'm asking them out of habit. I know we don't need it, but I'm asking them for their medications, their driver's license, and I always say avoided checks, but most people don't have voided checks these days. Like a statement will work. So immediately, and just as soon as I say it, I'm looking back down at my laptop. I really don't want to make eye contact right there because that's when it gets awkward. And then I do look up if they don't get up right at the second. I'm like, can you get that for me now real quick? So
that is awesome.
You just want to go in and assuming it, and if you, it's not always an easy topic to talk about. A lot of families that we see, they've been through a lot, I see families who have had really just not good run-ins with prior agents. I've had families who obviously have struggled and mourned the passing of a loved one. not an easy topic to talk about. So I really try to treat them like family in all senses. So sometimes that means, being a little bit more loving toward them. But that also means kind of giving them tough love sometimes when they're a little bit more stubborn on even taking out a policy for them and their family, because you need to look out for those who are going to need looking out for when that primary breadwinner is gone.
That's perfect. Before I bring the next question on from one of the teammates that posted, let me ask you another question too. We do get, we have new agents on here. Obviously the message is always catered to the newest agent, right? But we have agents that, because we come from either a previous IMO or they may have not come from an IMO and they're just starting. How is it important that we get everything taken care of at the first meeting instead of saying, hey, I'm going to come back, or hey, hey, can I think about it? I know some people get the think about it message, right? How do you handle those things?
So, when I first started, not at this company, but I learned the rough way. I got so excited that I got to think over it. I'm like, you know what? They're going to call me. I can't wait for them to call. They said they're going to call this day. Like, I trust them. They're never going to call you. Unfortunately, you're probably never going to talk to them again. You can try to door knock them, but the longer, I always say, each day as it goes, it's like a piece of paper, full piece of paper. You leave that day, that paper folds in half. That's how much they remember about that life insurance that you went through. The next day, you fold it in half again, and it keeps on getting smaller and smaller. And that's how much information they are actually retaining from the time that you originally spent with them. Now, you have a ton of families to go see, so you really need to value your time and prioritize your time. It doesn't mean rush out of there, but it also does mean that, listen, if I have to come back here, I'm saying no to a family who requested for help because I have to refill that time slot with you. Like, is that fair, Corinne?
Yes, that's fair.
So that's another thing. I've limited that a lot by just being upfront and direct with them by telling them, listen, we're going to be applying for a policy today. And then I always just solidify the sale too. Because honestly, when you have the policy holders, that's the only time I give out my personal phone number to them. I have them save me in my phone. I save them in my phone, just so that I know, and I tell them right off the rip, when the policy comes in, if you want me to go over it one more time with you, because I want to make sure you understand it, there's a ton of insurance jargon in there. It's really important that you understand what kind of policy this is and how it can pay out, all that fun stuff. Like, just give me a quick call, And I think that just having them input, your phone number in their phone, or it's just taking an extra step besides just leaving them with a business card, that you're someone who's trustworthy, and you're someone who's going to be there. And I do always tell them again too, I'm like, anything that you guys need, if you have any questions, if you need me to come back out, like I'm there for you, But the only time when I kind of extend myself like that is when we already have an application in process.
That's awesome. Now we had a question from an agent. She said, what was your biggest obstacle getting started and how did you overcome that?
My biggest obstacle getting started was buying leads. Honest to God, it was just buying leads. I mentally did not want to go dropping 1,500 because I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's 1,500 out the window. But in reality is you gotta just wire your brain just to think differently, and that you now bought all these leads. That's all potential families that you can help out, and you can get paid very well on them. If you're buying even 100 of the instant internet live leads, it's 1,100. The average price for our policy is about $100. That's 1,200 right there. You really only need one to break even. And out of that 100, you should easily be booking 10 to 15 of them. Even if half of them no-show you, which more often than not, that's not the case, there's just no reason for it, Another thing I remember when I was brand new as an agent was I was letting people dictate my schedule rather than me booking people. So I would cater toward, I can't do this day, but, can you come this day at this time? Like, unless I'm already going to be out there, then that's not going to happen. It's, again, I see a lot of brand new people, not necessarily from here, but from my old company, used to ask, what time is the best time for you? I don't want any open-ended questions. I want to kind of have them pushed into a corner just a little bit and have them picking between two options. Which option works best? And it's the same thing when you're even sliding them over the prices. What option works best for you? You know? So I think that that's probably the best way to handle that. What other obstacles? I would say, honestly, is just making sure protect your dial time and also make sure that you're making the dials. You know, I think that a lot of us at first, and this was a little bit more for me too, typical dial day from where I used to come from was if I was making $250, $300, like, wow, you were great. Here, it's, you know, you got to keep dialing until you're booked up. There's no one else that's really going to help you out besides yourself in that aspect. You've got to put in the time, you know, and you'll be rewarded very well for it. But I think that you really need to protect your dial time and make sure that you're putting in the extra effort, because the only thing that's going to come out of it is just you being more successful at the end of the day.
That is so awesome. You are killing it, giving all the nuggets. Listen, we got time for at least one or two more. I definitely want to touch on, you've been doing a lot of warm market hiring, which is amazing, right? And I know sometimes people coming from a previous IMO, it's almost kind of hard because we, you know, when you're at the last IMO, you were pushing it so hard. Now you're with a different company and it's almost as it's a little bit harder, right? But you make it so much easier. What are some of the things that you're saying? And when do you even have time to hire?
So to be honest with you, it's been reposting. Everything else that FFL does, between the TikToks that you guys are making, which are fabulous, you know, just things that are going on in the company. I always try to post a little bit my own stuff, but also promote my team too, you know, because everything's better when other people are winning. If it's just pushing yourself and only promoting yourself, you know, it might just be a fluke. People might just think like, oh yeah, she's doing well because she's good at it. You know, she's been doing it for a while. But when you have brand new agents, and this is with any agency within national or even not with national too, you know, people want to see other people winning, and people who especially had no prior experience coming in here and who are making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month. That's something to get really excited about. And that's something that I think other people across social media, you know, even your friends are going to start asking about it. Like, constantly, just a little bit, like, what are you doing? You know, oh, how's that working out for you? Oh, what happened between like your previous company and here? And I get very excited to tell everyone about it, just because of you know, being at a previous company. Personally, I wish I could rip everyone out of that company and drag them over here. They would be 10 times happier. Their bank accounts would be 10 times happier, minimally as well too. But I think, you know, like the gentleman before said, it's such a great opportunity that it's truly just selfish to keep it to yourself.
That is awesome. Oh my God. Okay. So what you're saying is you don't have to be you're a great recruiter, but you're a great recruiter because you're just reposting and you're sharing everyone's success, right? Same as what Jerron said.
Yep, correct. That, and you know, people want to be with people who, again, they either are like themselves or that's someone who they want to be like. You know, I always, I think the best recruiting tool out there is put your head down, go to work, you know, and let success show it for you. Kind of do less of the talking, you know, and everything kind of comes down to the numbers. And when you do have those numbers, and it's not just yourself posting it, but National's posting it, you know, recognition board, just keep on throwing it up there. You know, you'll have people rooting for you, and then you'll have people, especially kind of keeping an eye on you. You know, you're now on their radar, like, what's she doing? What's she doing? So it's kind of nice to reach out to those people who originally reached out to you and get them set up. And once they are here too, just watching them grow and getting the ball rolling with them, there's nothing better than that.
And just to backtrack a little bit, one of our agents had a question. They said, after you run Americo, right, if they don't pass that second half, what is the conversation that you have with them to move on to the next company to make it comfortable so that they don't feel bad that they didn't get in with Americo?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't tell them. Like, I do not tell them kind of what's going on. Like, again, it's not everything that they don't know, like it won't hurt them, you know? So immediately I always go back to, and now since I've been here for a little while, I can kind of tell, you know, based on their medications and especially if it's final expense, we have an underwriting cheat sheet. Print that out, keep it with you. You know, it'll literally tell you yes, no, yes, no, yes, no for whatever companies you have. Now, not everyone has all the companies. I know I don't, you know, and it's not the end of the world. There's something for everyone with whatever company or companies that you have. So with that, if you're brand new, call the agency hotline, call your manager, run them through exactly, you know, what prescriptions they're taking, what they were diagnosed with, because 9 times out of 10, they'll be able to absolutely make sure that we can put them with the company. Another thing that I know that I did right off the bat, and I probably lost a good amount of business this way, was I was comfortable leaving the house with just having an application going to underwriting and kind of like crossing my fingers, hoping that like they would get approved. Typically what I've been doing now too is I want to make sure that I can get them. I know that a policy is going to be approved before I leave the house, just so I don't have to make an extra trip out that way. Like if it is a county that's 2-3 hours out and you bought 100 leads for just that day, I don't want to have to go wasting a day, or if there's not immediate leads available in the CRM, it's going to take a little while to recoup that. So your time is your money. So value that wisely, but make sure that these people are taken care of.
That is awesome. Now, let me ask you a question. We have a ton of new people on that either just got their license or they've had it and they're just on the fence, right? What's the conversation that you have with your agents that they maybe don't, you know, do you have agents that don't reach out to you and, you know, that definitely need help, or, you know, how do you kind of have that conversation with them? Like, listen, I don't know if you're having a hard time unless you reach out, right?
Correct. Yeah. So especially when I originally came over from my tax company, I wound up dragging a slew of people with me. You know, and it was one of those things where I had some people who were super immersed in the system, you know, and they wanted to reach out and they really just wanted to jump in, you know, and kind of really not think about it and just go all in with it, which I think is the way that you have to be. If you're just going to dip a toe in and kind of test the waters, you're going to wind up losing money rather than just getting all in. And putting yourself out there, because the system, it's not going to fail you if you're working hard and running the system. But also in regards to if you're struggling, you need to call your manager. You absolutely need to call your manager. We're not mind readers. You know, I wish I could be, I don't wish I could be in everyone's head, but I do wish that I knew, you know, off the top of my head, what people are struggling with. You know, and more often than not, it just comes down to just keep on working. You know, we're all going to get into rust. We're all going to have quote unquote bad days, you know, which a bad day here is a better day than anywhere else. I can promise you that. But we're all going to have some bad days where we might not book up enough for what we need to. We might go out to the field and, you know, we might only see like 1 or 2 families. But, you know, is you got to keep pushing and put pressure on that system and make sure that you're doing everything that you could possibly be doing to setting yourself up to, for success, whether that's watching podcasts, reading a book, you know, because more often than not, also with your managers, 99 times out of 100, anything that you're struggling with, there's been thousands of other agents that have been struggling with the same thing. And I guarantee you there's a podcast out there to overcome it. So I really think that it all comes down to mindset, you know, and your work ethic, and just implementing that into your daily routine and creating just a lifestyle over here.
And last question for you, Rachel. We're, I mean, extremely blessed to have you on. You're helping so many people. What is the one message that you can give to the newest person or newest people on this call? You know, the takeaway. What can you leave them with?
Takeaway. Honestly, and I know this sounds so silly, but it's just go to work. Go to work. It's stop making up excuses and go to work. Don't push it off to till tomorrow. Do not procrastinate on anything you know, you don't want to get done. Like if you don't want to dial, or like you're in the middle of dials, but you could do laundry, or like you could do this or you could do that. Just dial, just get it done. You'll be thanking yourself later, you know. There's days I'm exhausted out here, you know, but it's so rewarding. And looking back, you're gonna look back down the road, and I always say, I'm like, I'm gonna miss these days eventually, just being in the field, but just looking back and thanking your younger self for doing what you did in order to put yourself into a position later on down the road, which all of us here, we're all capable of, really pushing for that integrity deal, building a legacy over here. So I really think just don't procrastinate, minimize the excuses, and just go to work.
Rachel, I know you're in the field today, and from the team and all the teams on here, we just want to say how appreciative we are that you took the time out to give us all this information. And I'm here to help you too. So we just want to thank you so much. You really killed the call. And we're just so happy for you and all of your success and in the direction that your team and yourself that you're going in. So guys, we want to make sure we stay within time. I know people are in the field today. Please go crush it. You heard from the best of the best today. So there's no reason why you can't be a Rachel Canning or even better, right? So guys, go kill it, go crush it. Okay, go run it up. We love you. Have an amazing week, guys. We will talk to you next Saturday. Love you guys.
Thanks for having me on. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.